Good morning. I am Tracy Spence with your newscast. This newscast is brought to you courtesy of BioLife Energy Systems. Come join the living. Call them at 800-875-5433. USA Credit Repair, the key to beautiful credit. You may call them at 800-786-1330. And Cruising with the Case Handler, a show on personal injury and immigration, weekdays 8:30 a.m. on Saturdays 7 p.m. and 12 noon on Sundays. Now for the news in details. Jamaica's Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says provisions of the Disaster Risk Management Act will be rigorously enforced as part of the government's increased coronavirus COVID-19 control measures. Tufton was speaking with members of the media during a public education activity to promote the use of masks in public spaces. The exercise saw teams from the Ministry and the Southeast Regional Health Authority, SERHA, distributing Ministry of Health and Wellness branded fabric masks to commuters in Halfway Tree Square earlier yesterday. In April of this year, the government announced the mandatory wearing of masks in public spaces as part of measures to contain the transmission of COVID-19. Tufton said a critical aspect of the act is the wearing of masks in public spaces. Pointing to the recent increases in COVID-19 cases across the island, the ministry attributed this to delinquency by the people in adhering to the health safety protocols established by the ministry. The Human Resource Management Association of Jamaica, HRMAJ, says there is urgent need to have the previous work-from-home mandates reinstituted for those whose jobs allow them to in light of the significant spike in COVID-19 cases, hospitalization, and loss of life. In a press release yesterday, the association said that would provide more than persuasive influence on employers and is a necessary and important signal from the government to the organization and the country on the whole on the imperative of limiting COVID-19 spread throughout uncontrolled workplace infections. The association says it believes that every employee who has the capacity and the resources to work from home should be allowed to do this. This, it said, will allow for resources and strategy to be concentrated in areas such as the frontline team members who are unable to perform work remotely. Meanwhile, the Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA, is warning that regardless of which party forms the government after Thursday's general election, it will be resolute in its stance not to accept any wage offer that will further marginalize the nation's teachers. Jason Gabriel, the newly installed JTA president, says that the last wage offer of 16%, which was accepted by teachers, was not worth it because the average rate of inflation has been trending at 4.5% since 2017. According to Gabriel, trained graduates at the beginning of the scale as of April 1st, 2020, would have received less than $5,500 on their net increase in salary. At the same time, Gabriel is urging the government to speed up the appointment of master teachers as a means of ensuring that more educators can earn better salaries and remain on the job. Contentious salary negotiations and the push for better working conditions have been a long-standing issue between the Ministry of Education and the JTA over many years, as teachers believe that the failure to properly compensate them has caused many to flee to greener pastures, weakening the local educational sector. Jamaican teachers are in high demand in places like the United Kingdom and as far away as the United Arab Emirates. Finally, Jamaica's cabinet has issued protocols for persons in quarantine and isolation to vote in the general election. Those in quarantine may leave their location once during the hours of 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. on September 3rd. They should immediately return to quarantine after voting. In addition, they are required to travel only to and from a polling station in private transportation. The driver and all passengers must wear masks, the windows should remain open, and air conditioning should be switched off. If the person develops any symptoms of COVID-19 or any flu-like or respiratory symptoms, they should immediately inform an election officer after the polling station. And that is it for the news. This newscast came to you courtesy of BioLife Energy Systems. Come join the living. Call them at 800-875-5433. USA Credit Repair, the key to beautiful credit. You may call them at 800-786-1330. And Cruising with the Case Handler, a show on personal injury and immigration, weekdays 8:30 a.m. on the Saturdays 7 p.m. and 12 noon on Sundays. On behalf of the news and production team, I am Tracy Spence. Do have a good morning.